Hello, this is Tony Holland, founder and CEO of Global Premier Benefits, an integrity company. I want to talk to you guys today about a question I get often is, how do I be persistent in a sales process without coming across pushy? Because I know myself, I don't like pushy salespeople. I don't want to be pushy myself. But I think it's important you understand what it is. You know, you're not really, first of all, we understand why we're there to begin with. You know, and when it doesn't, being persistent is understanding that you're there to help that person in need. They raised their hand by mailing that card or making a phone call in a commercial, or, you know, they responded to an internet ad or what have you, however you generate. They raised their hand to begin with to say, somebody help me. Do you understand that that's a big part of why having an excellent lead source or a referral program, that they've raised their hand to get help. I'm there to help. It's no difference in them getting help from me or getting help from their doctor. If they're getting chest pains, you know, or they have a bad headache, you know, they're going to go to a doctor, prayerfully, right? And the doctor's going to do a full workup, right? So I think you got to do an effective needs analysis. No one would want to see a doctor says, here's your prescription, push it on you and say, now get out of my office. We wouldn't go back to that doctor. No, a good doctor's going to have what's called that bedside manner, you know. Talk to the client, ask them questions, you know, find out what their hurts, what their pains are. Your chest pain or headache may be from something totally different. That's why they do a workup on you. When you go into that doctor's office, that nurse practitioner or staff member does your height and weight. You know, they do your blood pressure, right? They listen to your lungs, look at your eyes, look into your throat, look into your ears, right? And if there's more work they have to do, they get some blood, urinalysis to find out a proper what? A diagnosis. You know, and the right way to do sales is the same process. And when you're dealing with objections, to me, I handle all my objections really up front. You know, and the main thing in sales, you got to be able to sell yourself. If the people don't like you or feel comfortable with you and realize you're there for the right reason, they're not going to do business with you anyway. You know, so I can teach you all the handling objection and proper closes and what to do. But I think the first thing you got to be able to do is sell yourself. Are you likable? Are you trustworthy? Do you have a smile on your face? Are you on time? Are you dressed appropriately? You know, if you're doing telesales, are you, speaking clearly? You know, you have to have that positive vibe that resonates with people. You know, and so when you're dealing with objections, the basics I tell people, whether you're on the phone or the field, understand what an objection is. An objection is a sign that someone has fear, which all of us heard as false evidence appearing real. They don't know your true intentions. They're scared to death that they're on the phone with someone that may hook or crook them, or in their house is going to take advantage of them. You got to understand that up front. And your job is that their level of fear is up here. You have to break that fear down. You know, slowly but surely, so they're at ease and feel comfortable with you. And that doesn't happen instantaneously. It's a process. So when they give you an objection, matter of fact, they say in sales that most people will give you at least 5 no's before they'll say yes. And you need to decipher, is that a real objection? Is that a stall? Is that a sign of fear? Or is that a sign they just need more information? So I have to decipher through that objection. And basically what I teach when somebody gives me an objection, first thing, I want to hear the objection out. Okay, they give me an objection like, you know, I want to talk to my daughter. We get that a lot. You know, one of their kids, somebody in the family, you know, Miss Johnson, you know, I really want you to do that. That's an important, I'm glad you said that. You should talk to your daughter, because she's going to be an important decision maker and part of this process. That's important to make sure you do communicate, by the way, with the decision maker. You know, and I'm sure she's going to be probably your emergency contact person, Miss Johnson. If something happened, let me make a note of that. I'm always taking notes with my client. And by the way, I'm going to ask her, I said, you know what, it'd be good to have her here, or at least we can set up a FaceTime with her. I can set up a call and do FaceTime, and that way we can welcome her here today. Or I can reschedule that so she's here with us. So basically how I handle objections, I agree with my client. I say things like, I understand. I know how you feel, Miss Johnson. I get what you're saying. And I want to make sure I'm taking good notes, Ms. Johnson. I want to make sure I handle this objection that you have appropriately, okay? And then I plead my case. I tell them why we need to have, we want their daughter involved and why we need to speak to her. Because if you're laid up in that hospital and you're fighting for your life, you're not going to be able to handle the situation. Your daughter will, and I'll be by your daughter's side to help her with this most important decision. Or if there's, God forbid, you pass away prematurely, she's going to be your beneficiary on this insurance plan. I want to make sure she knows what to do when that happens. Yes, let's please get her on the phone. And then I'll always close my objections up with a yes questions. That makes sense now, doesn't it? I use what's called, Tom Hopkins calls them tie downs. Isn't it? Wasn't it? Shouldn't it? Couldn't it? I always close with a yes question. I do a lot of yes closing in my presentation anyway. I think little minor yeses, break down the barriers that lead to the ultimate yes to get, ultimately a client that you're going to serve and going to help. And really the sale really starts not after the close. At the close. It really starts after that close. What are you going to do for that client after you got the check, after you got the application, you get it processed, you got your commission, now the sale really started. Now the close has really started, and you got to be in a position that you're making sure you're servicing that client, because they can easily say no, and then we get a charge back, and you don't want that. So you need to make sure you're persistent with your client, knowing that you're there to help them, but you don't want to come across pushy. And throughout the process of selling, they're going to give you objections. Just be ready for it and not let it phase you. Say, that's okay, Ms. Johnson. I expected that. I do the feel, felt, found method. I know other clients that, feel that same way. And once, I show them how this worked, they felt differently about it. And they found out through this process that it was the best decision for them. Let me show you how that works, So the feel, felt, found, I'm sure you guys have heard that. It's a great, great tool to use, and use stories. I always felt like stories are much better than giving facts. I see agents out there giving the variable on this and the statistic on that and all the charts in the world. You got to tell stories about the clients who are in the same boat they were in and how you solved their problem. See, we're here to solve problems, okay? These people are going through real life-changing problems. They might have a daughter that's messed up on drugs, or a son that may be locked up in jail, or a grandchild that's struggling in school, or they might have health challenges themselves. And when I get some people say, Tony, what do you do with that irate client that's beating you up? I'm like, I just realized this. Hurting people will hurt other people. They're hurting. They're upset by something. And that's why when I start my presentations, I always make sure I visit with the client, whether on the phone or I ask them how they're doing. How's your family? How's the kids? How's everything going on in your life? Is there anything I need to pray with you about? Is everything going okay with you? Matter of fact, when I go in the field, I hug on my clients. Whether it's a man or I give them a hug. Glad to be here, Glad to be able to service you. I'm looking for it. And by the way, you work for the client, okay? I'm here to be hired. It's like a job interview. They're hiring me to do a job to help them with their Medicare, help them with their final expense, their pre-need, their annuity. I'm here to help them solve a problem. They're going to hire me just like they would hire a roofer or someone to do their driveway. You're on a job interview. Why should they hire you and not some other Medicare or insurance agent that's going to come along the way? So it's so important that you do that way, right? And it's another question I'm asked often related to the persistence. How to not overstay your welcome. There's going to be times you just got to walk away. And I've had that in many cases. Like, after I've heard no 5 and 6 times and I show them why they need it, and why they should take advantage of it. And I've gone back maybe sometimes a second or third time. Sometimes it's best just to walk away, because the last thing I want to do is, and I can probably talk anybody into anything, I don't want to do that. Because if she's saying no, and I push her into a plan, all it's going to do is cause me problems down the road. I don't want that. I don't want, the State Department getting on me or CMS. I want to make sure I'm doing what's right by that client, and if it's not a good fit and she doesn't want to make a move, I'll walk away and leave them alone. And how do I know when that's time? When, you just feel it, the client, and I just let them know, listen, I love you. I appreciate you letting me come out and learn from you. I appreciate getting to know you. You've been a great person to me and a great host. And if I can ever do anything for you in the future, you let me know. And if there's somebody else in the community I can help, and I try to get referrals. Maybe I can come out to your church. You told me you belong to Bethel AME. I would love to come out and and fellowship with you guys on Sunday. And maybe there's other people I can help that 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 may not have themselves together as much as you do. I would love to meet your pastor. I would love to meet the deacon. I try to turn that no matter what into a yes. So that way I'm not overcoming my stay. I turn that negative situation to a positive, and I want to make sure I'm always welcome back. I want to make sure no matter what, if I see this client again in the grocery store, or I have to call them again with a change, they're going to be open to me helping them. And especially like in telesales, if you're in Baltimore and you're selling, say, in Alabama, I want to make sure when I call them with changes, they're going to welcome my call. So what I always do at the end, whether they enroll or not, I want them to take down my information. I want me to put them, back in the day we used to say the Rolodex. Most of you young people won't even know what that is. But I want them to put me in their cell phone. Say, Miss Johnson, I may not be able to help you now. You said, this is not the good fit for you or not the right time. That's okay. Sometimes it is timing, Miss Johnson. I did the best I could to help you. I said, tell you what, I want to stay in touch with you if that's okay. And I want you to stay in touch with me just in case you need a second opinion. You never know. Just like, if you're going to get hand surgery or heart surgery, wouldn't you want a second opinion? I know I would. If I'm getting stuff done on my car, I want to maybe get another mechanic to look at it. That's why they always say you always should get, when you're getting work done on your house, you should get 3 different offers, right? To make sure it's the right one. So just keep me in mind. You never know, Miss Johnson, when you might need somebody to help you explain Medicare, or something doesn't make sense on your current policy. I'll do it at no charge to you. I'll help you out. You always have a friend that's there for your need. I'm going to tell you, many times those people that have said no to me 3 months ago are yeses now because something's changed or they're not happy with their agent. You never know when there's going to be a change. So that's why I always kept in touch with all my clients. See, all my clients, whether they said yes or no, are going to be in my database because I'm going to constantly stay in touch with them down the road. And I think that's also a way to help overcome that issue of that you're overstaying your welcome, so to speak. I'm going to be a family member for life. I used to have this saying. I said, you give me 1% of your trust, I'll earn the other 99. And I love using this a lot. This is bringing me back to the good old days. I said, Miss Johnson, I love people. And I said, I know you saying no right now and you're a little nervous, and I understand. I get that all the time. I said, but after I get done helping you today, we're going to be family because somebody's getting adopted today. Okay? Either you're going to adopt me or I'm going to adopt you, but we're going to be family. I want to be in their family. I want to be one of the first people her family call if there's a crisis, whether it's, premature death or, an accident or sickness. I want to make sure they're calling me as their agent, whether they're a client of mine or not. I want to know what's going on in their life. And I'm going to tell you that builds a much better relationship up front, that it's almost hard for them to even say no to you at the end because no other agent's willing to offer that kind of relationship with them. Most agents are transactional agents. They're here to make a sale, make a commission, and move on. And most clients will tell you, they never hear from them again. Matter of fact, one of the tests I would do, and I suggest you guys ask your client when you're talking, what's the name of your agent? I bet 99% of them can't even tell you the name. That'll tell you something. But if you ask them, who's your doctor? I bet they know. Who's your dentist? I bet they know. Who's your accountant? I bet if they have an attorney, they know who's the mayor of your town. They know those people, right? Who's your next door neighbor, right? You need to be that tight in building a relationship with clients. And overcoming objections will never be an issue. It's about building relationships, not making a sale. So I hope that helped you guys today with dealing with that, being persistent versus pushy. I want to thank you guys for letting me speak to you. If you want to get more information or you want to reach out and share an idea or get some feedback from me, or you need mentorship, or you're interested in joining our organization, we'd love to help you. You can reach out to me, anytime. I love texting. You can text me at 443-253-3634. Like I said, I prefer a text because a lot of times in meetings or on an airplane flying to another location, but I will get back to you. I promise you that I'm very hands-on, different than most probably IMOs in the industry. I love working with my team. I love seeing my teammates win. You can reach me at 443-253-3634. Be there for you. May God continue to bless you always, and I look forward to hearing from you very soon. Thank you, and have a great day.